I put my whole energy and my whole heart into that, and let's say it doesn't do well, you're like, oh, like, it's so disappointing, and it can really get to you. The post that goes out on socials, you just see that video and you don't know what's gone on behind the scenes, you know, the amount of editing that's gone into it, the filming, the idea concept, just the stress of getting it all together. People don't see that, they just see it on the feed.
It can have quite an impact on mental health, and I don't think everyone's there quite yet to admit that actually I might need to take a step back and actually remember that I have a real life, and that what I'm seeing all the time isn't real. The Dubai lifestyle, the Lamborghinis, the money, you know. I
essentially had a mental breakdown, to be honest with you, like 3 or 4 years ago. Because if you start associating social media with real life, that's where the mental health problems start, and that's where you potentially could really go down a really bad path, because you're comparing your life to social media, which is just not real.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before we begin, I'd like to say a big thank you to today's podcast sponsor, which is Casita Properties, the leading UK property company when it comes to off-market, discreet buy-to-let sales. All their information, as normal, will be in the description below. I welcome good friend of mine, long-term friend of mine, all the way from primary school, believe it or not, Maz, the creative producer for Lad Bible.
Hello.
And it's awesome to have you here, mate. We're going to have a lot of fun. So thanks for coming, mate.
No worries at all, mate. Pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to it. It should be a good chat.
Yeah, it will. And look, if you're on TikTok and you haven't seen this man, all right, check out Lad.
Blush, Aaron, mate. You're making me blush.
Check out Lad Bible. We're having a good laugh off of camera, but it's awesome what you're doing with Lad Bible. We're going to touch on that, but also let's just rewind it. Let's start from the beginning. Talk us through your journey, and let's kind of start from early childhood, and then we'll work our way up.
Yeah, so obviously we went to primary school together. Went to in Brighton, grew up in Brighton, went to school there, and then sort of my sort of media interest sort of was a secondary school, Cardinal Newman. Did media studies, was quite like did drama, so I was quite like creative. Likes to have a laugh and that kind of stuff, and then also writ for the Cardinal Newman. I remember I wasn't good enough to play football, so I had to write about it instead. I did all that as well, and then that just sort of I was like, growing up I was like, I really want to be on BBC. Like BBC Sport for me would be like the dream. But then as I got older, I was like, actually it's a bit too corporate for me. It feels a bit too rigid. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I don't think that's for me. I don't think so. As I got older a little bit more, and then went to college, and then I went to uni. In Plymouth Marjon, and I did sports media. So that was literally a whole course designated to that, doing everything from design to presenting to on camera, off camera, literally the whole 360. And then did that, and then went on got a 2-1. Did all right, didn't I? 2-1. And then, literally, I went a bit off course a little bit, because my parents were like, Maz, go for the money. Just go for the money. Don't worry about, what's sports media going to do for you? It's not going to do anything for you. I was like, here we go. So, I just tried to chase the bag, as they say, and worked in Legal and General, in admin, did call centre work, grew up in call centres pretty much from like the age of 16, and then did, recruitment. Did recruitment as well for like 2 years. So did a lot of like this sort of, very salesy kind of role, which actually has helped me a lot. Actually, it's given me a lot of skills to take on to this role now. And then I got to like 26, 27. I was like, this ain't me. Like, I cannot be doing this for the rest of my life. First of all, I'm not very good at recruitment. Second of all, I'm not
recruit anyone.
Got like one placement a month. Weren't making any money. I was like, well, this is just a bit crap, isn't it? Really. And I was like, look. It's sort of now or never. I felt a bit like at that age, and I was like, "You're 26, like even though it's still young, like super young." But I was just like, "I've got to do it." And it's like now or never, man. You've got to do it. So my mate's brother tagged me in a post on Twitter. He was like, "Oh, there's a job going at Lad Bible, for a team called Odds Bible, which is like part of the group." And he's like, "Why don't you just go for it?" I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And I was only doing like YouTube at the time, like in my own time, but with two of my mates doing a bit of YouTube. Like it was very sort of limited experience, really. Apart from my degree. And then applied for it, 3-stage interview, and then got the role as a social editor. So very much like behind the scenes, posting, a lot of this stuff like not on screen. And then just sort of broke my way through really. After a couple of years I was like, I've always wanted to be a presenter and like interviewer, and I was like, all right, just go for it, just make your own path kind of thing. So I just started, going up to people, going like, can I get on camera, any danger? And one of the ex guys now who used to work there actually he said to me, obviously RD from Brighton, he was popping at the time, I think it's about a year and a half ago now, nearly 2 years, whatever, and he's popping at the time, and I was like, I want to get RD. Like, can I interview him? And he's like, look, Maz, it's a win-win for me. If you flop, I told you so. And then, but if you do really well, then yeah, I was the one to give you the opportunity. I was like, buzzing. I'll take that. So yeah, I did an interview with RD, and it just blew up on TikTok. Did like one of the clips did like 3 million views like within a couple of days. And yeah, just like 3 or 4 clips just blew up. And he was like, yeah, fair play, Maz. It's pretty decent, isn't it? Yeah. Done all right. So I was like, yeah, just give me, I always knew I could do it. It was just being given the opportunity.
I feel like it's like a Bruce Almighty.
yeah. I was set up for failure. But no, it was good. And and then it's all sort of just rolled on from there and just snowballed. And now I do it, like, I'm very blessed. I get to do it like as my day job. Like, I get to go speak to, sports people, people, interview people at the Brits. Like,
you were KSI
it's just
yesterday.
Yeah, KSI. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I'm very blessed, and it's just all a bit of a whirlwind. But yeah, man, I'm just at the beginning of my journey as well. I feel like I've still got a long way to go. But yeah,
it's so exciting, especially as I've known you for a long time. And like I said, first thing I said, you haven't changed at all. and that's the nice thing is, like, your humour I can tell already your humour's played a very good part in like your career path.
100%. No, 100%.
What I would say as well for anyone watching is, it's funny you mentioned about the age, because we were talking about this off camera, is that when people, you flitted from one job to the other, so did I. And I think you don't ever really find your place until and it might take until like late 20s. And we put such a big time pressure on ourselves to have everything figured out so early, but it's taken you sort of to your late 20s, and now you're in the stride of it, and now you're having fun and you're enjoying what you're doing. So it's a good message to people to kind of think, actually, do you know what? If you haven't got it figured out at 19,
oh, 100%.
Who does?
No, exactly. And even now, I'm like, am I in the right job? Like, you have that sort of like imposter syndrome, and you still even doubt yourself now. But I haven't got to here by just sheer luck or anything like that. I've worked hard. Hopefully people like the content I'm putting out. Numbers don't lie at the end of the day, like, without sounding cocky, but the numbers sort of back what I'm doing up. So yeah, no, it's just, do you know what, like, and this is hand on heart, I love creating content. Genuinely, I just love making content and making people laugh. Like, the best thing for me is hearing stuff like stuff like what you said, saying that, oh, I really enjoyed that video, it cracked me up. Like, genuinely, that makes me so happy. Just for one person to come up to me like, Maz, that video cracked me up the other day. I was laughing so much, and I was like, oh, it's amazing. Like, at least one person's had a really, I'm sure there's a few others enjoying it as well, but just to hear that feedback is just incredible. And genuinely, I wouldn't do it if I didn't enjoy creating content, I don't think. Yeah. Because you just, after a year, you'd be like, oh, this is boring. Like, whatever.
It's another job as well,
lose
isn't
that
it?
Passion, yeah.
You've got to enjoy it. Like any job, if you're going to stick with it, you have to enjoy it. You can't be going home at the end of the day thinking, oh my God, I can't wait till the day's done. And if you haven't already, if you do go check out Lad Bible on TikTok, especially, because that's where a lot of these videos are popping. Obviously, you're tagged in a lot of these videos, aren't you, under... What's your username for that?
Maz Mosley, yeah.
Go check out Maz and go check out some of those videos because they're awesome. But what's the vision when it comes to content creation? Because again, that is, you just said you absolutely love doing it. I have days where I love doing content, like doing the podcast, TikTok, all that good stuff. It's great, but there are days where you think, I don't even want to fucking look at my phone.
Oh yeah.
Like how
I have that a lot.
how do you get over those days?
It's tough. It's not easy. Like even last night, I was editing the video. So I went to the press conference at like 12, and then didn't stop editing till like 10:30, 11. Like, just so that it's not really that long. In all fairness, I've had much longer days, but like there's days where you're just working all day and you're editing and whatever, and like it can. By the end of the day, like, honestly, my lower back, my legs were dying. Like, I had a headache. Like, it's just tough, like physically as well as mentally as well. Because you're like, oh, is it good enough? Is it going to do well? Like, all these kind of things you're thinking in your head. But I suppose to answer your question, to get over that, I suppose it's just keep persevering. Even let's say you put a piece of content out that doesn't do well, that can be so disheartening because you put your time. Like for me, so I do 360. So I literally come up with the concept, so the idea of the video. I film it, as in, well, I have a cameraman, but then I edit it and I post it. So literally that whole journey of that video is all me, pretty much. Apart from the person filming it, I do everything else. I edit it, I come up with the idea, all that kind of stuff. So I put my whole energy and my whole heart into that. And let's say it doesn't do well, you're like, oh, like, it's so disappointing. And it can really get to you, I suppose. Especially if you have like a couple in a row as well. You're like, I lost it, I've lost my touch, am I not good enough? All that kind of stuff. And I suppose you just got to keep remembering, it's like, we spoke about off air, it's a numbers game. You just got, don't get me wrong, I'm always about quality over quantity. Like, that's my number one rule. I always want to make sure what I put out I'm happy with. If I'm not happy with it, I just don't put it out.
Yeah.
And I might get questioned like, why has that not gone out? I'm like, I don't think it was going to do well. And I'd rather put something out that I'm proud of and think will do well, rather than just put anything out. But yeah, I think it's just mindset. It's just making sure that you don't let, one bad thing affect you for the next day. And then like, right, cool, didn't do well. Learn from it. What didn't do well? What can you analyze out of that? Get out of it. Didn't do well because of X, Y, and Z. Cool. Next time I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this better. Do that better. So you just keep improving. It's going to hurt for a couple of hours, a couple of days maybe, but then you just got to keep
out. What about rest days? Sort of taking, because some people feel quite bad. The question.
I'm the worst person to ask about that. Yeah, I don't give myself enough rest, mate. I'm just too much.
I'm the same. Yeah. But I think it is important.
100%.
We can preach it, but are we practicing? I wouldn't say we are all the time. So, what would you say for someone who is day in, day out in social media, living the life? What would you say for someone who's looking to start launching their brand, get themselves out there? If you're going to go into it, remember to have day offs.
100%, yeah. I'm, like you said, I don't practice what I preach, but you should, 100% take days off. Like, people just think, right, they have this perception of social media or whatever, well, in my eyes anyway, that, these influencers, they don't do anything. They literally, sit around, take a few pictures, take a few videos, and then make X amount of money, right? We have this sort of perception, but like, you don't see what goes on behind. So like, even the boxing events I go to, all the boxing media, some of them are like really small channels, but the graph they put in is mental, and you don't see that side of things. You just see the post that goes out on socials. You just see that video, and you don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. The amount of editing that's gone into it, the filming, the idea concept, just the stress of getting it all together. And like, people don't see that. They just see it on the feed, and that was crap.
Product.
Yeah, and you see the comments are like, that was crap, and you're like, I put so much into that, and just get that. So yeah, I think that perception needs to be changed, but yeah, definitely like rest days are so key, and just making sure that you switch off. Like, I'm really bad with it, but just sometimes logging off out of socials for a couple of days, or if you can. Obviously I work in it, so it's so difficult. I'm like, have to be on it every day to like know the trends and know what's popping and all that kind of stuff. So but if you can, try and stay away from it, or just have like I have this thing on my phone, comes to like 11 p.m. and it goes on like shutdown mode essentially,
right?
So you like got to like actually unlock it, but I just unlock it anyway, so it's a bit pointless.
Absolutely,
but the features are there. The features are there if you want to use it.
Unlock it now. Set this up.
But yeah, no, definitely try your best to try and have some rest days.
Where would you say so many people right now are trying to launch brands, businesses, logos, whatever it might be, because there's so much opportunity out there. But of course, that's backed by what platform do you go onto. There's a lot of talk around TikTok being one of the hottest platforms right now. I'm definitely experiencing that myself. I'm merging mine with LinkedIn for what we do, generating revenue. But the exposure is on TikTok very much. And the algorithm is pushing organically channels so quickly. But obviously the likes of Instagram, there's still Facebook hanging around there. What would you say? I mean,
clinging on.
Yeah, clinging on. We haven't got Bebo anymore. MSN back in the day. But where's your focus, or what would you say to people watching that this is the platform that you need to be on because it's hot right now?
I think you hit the nail on the head, to be honest. Yeah, TikTok's definitely the one that's popping at the moment. I know I've seen Be Real as well. Have you seen that?
No.
Be Real. So it's essentially, I think I haven't actually been on it myself, but I think you get like a notification essentially where it will send you a ping and be like, Be Real, and then you've got to take a picture, selfie style, and then one just so literally you could be at like 7 p.m. and you could be, I don't know, sat on your sofa and you just got to post. So it's all about being real.
Where will you be at 7?
Yeah, I don't know, mate. That's for another podcast, I think. But yeah, so it's like, I think it's the whole point of it is to be real. And I've seen that's like picking up a lot of traction. That's been quite hot at the moment. But yeah, TikTok definitely for content creators. That's definitely a good one. And I think Snapchat, like, I don't use Snapchat anymore because I'm too old now. But Snapchat's still popping, I think, like especially with the younger Gen Z. I think they're really into it still. But yeah, TikTok for me is the algorithm is just amazing. Like, you could literally overnight pop off. You could go from someone to nobody overnight.
It's crazy.
Which I think is beautiful, also dangerous at the same time. There's pros and cons. But yeah, I think the algorithm of TikTok is just incredible. How the power of it can just, like I said, put hashtag FYP and you can just be launched into thousands of people's screens. And if they like your content, if you're authentic and they enjoy your content, then you're flying.
It's crazy, isn't it? You can go from someone to Oh, no one. What we say that sounds really bad, doesn't it? But
No, yeah, not in that way.
In terms of social exposure, you can go from being hidden to being out there. I mean, I did a video last week, and it's done 1.6 million.
Wow!
Literally in a matter of days. I remember saying to Paul, "I'd be chuffed if this got to 150k," and then all of a sudden it was at 1.6 million. It's insane. So it's definitely organic in terms of the algorithm, because at the moment it's not pushing paid ads at the moment. Whereas if we look at Instagram, I've kind of died off Instagram in terms of my interest in it, because it just doesn't sit like interaction wise. I don't know if you repurpose and Instagram's still a big focus and it's...
Yeah, so personally, for like work wise, we definitely, Instagram's still a big platform for us. Obviously what they're doing at the moment is just pushing reels. So obviously that does... I personally am not a big fan of that. I feel like Instagram is Instagram. Let Instagram be Instagram. Let it be for photos. Let it be for still images, all that kind of stuff. Of course, introduce videos. We can't get away from that. But just don't try and copy. They're literally just trying to copy TikTok. They're just, anything TikTok does, like, let's do it as well. It's doing well for them. But I just feel like it's like my motto is like, be authentic, be yourself. Yeah. Like obviously Instagram became what it became because it was unique. It was a place to share your photos, share your videos, like family and friends, and then obviously it grew more than that. But yeah, I feel like it's really sort of deviated from its roots and it's trying to become a TikTok and it's trying to go down all these routes. So, but we see it definitely in work. Like it just pushes reels. So if you put a still image, you'll get lower engagement than you would a reel, just because it's the algorithm's pushing reels. So it does harm you, and you've got to adapt. You've got to be up to date with trends and how these different companies are moving. So being aware that Instagram are now going for reels, so let's make more reels, because you want to feed the algorithm and then it'll feed you back. So
how do you find the algorithm in terms of content posting? Because this is something I've had a lot of conversation around. No one really knows the answer. It's all speculation. But when it comes to TikTok, and let's talk about the UK market, is there the best time to post? Is there a best sort of hashtags? Like, how does it work? Have you found trends that have worked that perhaps anyone listening could think, okay, I'll give that a go?
Yeah, 100%. I think TikTok's the best for that. So what I always do is, me personally, I was going to my analytics. So it tells me when my audience are active, tells me who my audience are. Is it 50? I've got a really good split. I've got like a 50% male, 50% female, essentially. That's on my personal, by the way, not for Lab Bible. But yeah, I see the split and I can really go into the analytics and write, okay, cool. So most of my users are active at 7 p.m. I'm going to post at 7 p.m. because as soon as you get that initial push, let's say within half an hour, you get that interaction, it's going to push it to more people.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course, hashtags, I always use hashtags. And I also use trending sounds as well, because that's always key as well. As an individual, you can use trending sounds. So just using that in my videos, that again helps to boost it, and just be consistent. Regularly upload once or twice a day, and again the algorithm will feed you back. The more time you spend on the TikTok, the more they'll reward you for it, because they want you to spend time on it. Simple as that. Any social media company want you to spend time on their app, so they'll reward you. So the more you post on there, the more they'll send you out to other people.
And also, do you back up the fact that people, when they hear the word social media, they think of it as quite a vain, posting for yourself, stuff like that. Whereas what I try and do on this channel is remind people that actually, like, social media platforms, even like YouTube, these are essentially, if you approach it like a business, you can really generate some heavy money through this.
100%.
And I know that obviously people that you interview and people that you're surrounded with, they'll be earning some big money. We know some people that are on social media that have done pretty well. Like there's serious money to be made if you approach social media with a business mindset. Have you found that, like, through people that you know and talk to?
100%. I mean, it's just testament for the company I work, like Lab Bible. Like, what they've done is incredible. What they've achieved in such a short space of time, from like 10 years ago to now. Like, they're a multi-million-pound company, and they do, and the image has changed. They've gone from the perceptions people had of them before to what they are now, and creating some really actually good content that actually people can take away. Stuff like, we've got great original series that we do, and we actually make content, in my eyes, that is actually worth it. It's not just your superficial, like you said, like,
used to be quite jokey.
Yeah, exactly. And we've really got the tone of voice, and I've got to give big props to Lab Bible. Like, they've done such an incredible thing, like, to get where they are now, to this, like I said, this global company, and we're the biggest online social publisher in the world. Like, people don't realize that. They still think we're Lab Bible. This little page that started on Facebook and just did its thing. But like, we are the biggest online social publisher in the world.
Yeah.
Like you can't be, that is incredible to say. And yeah, I think they are a perfect example of how you can grow and monetize content. They started, like you said, sharing funny videos.
Yeah.
And then they thought, right, okay, we can probably monetize this. And then they went through the steps of how do we monetize it, and then ads and partnerships and all this other stuff. And I think they're a great example of what you're talking about. It's just like going from just posting stuff for the fun of it and for the content to then thinking, how can we develop this into a worthwhile business, and it's thriving today.
Yeah, absolutely. Something when it comes to YouTube, a lot of people who aren't in YouTube or haven't had any experience in YouTube at all, when I mention about the sheer amount that you could earn if you nail YouTube and you stick with it, because YouTube really does weed out the people who haven't got the stomach for it. Like you had your original Sunday Sofas, was it?
Sofa Sundays.
Sundays. It takes a lot of grit, a lot of determination, consistency, a lot of front end work without the back end payout just yet. But when you nail YouTube, and I know you know some big YouTubers as well, the payout, if you structure it as a business, can be massive, can't it? Like the earning potential for a YouTube beats any other job hands down.
Yeah, it's crazy. And definitely I feel like with YouTube you can, like, so people, what I've noticed is TikTokers do, they build their profile on TikTok and then merge over to YouTube, because that's where the money's at. So yeah, I think that's the best route to go down. It's like, build your profile on these other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, wherever maybe, and then go make the money. Well, even Instagram's good for making money, to be honest. But yeah, go to YouTube and then just make loads of money there. So I think that's all about what you got to do is, just migrate and bring your following from one platform to another where it'll benefit you most. If it's monetary, if that's what your sort of aim is, like, I'll be honest with myself, like my TikTok, I can be part of the creator fund, but I choose not to, just because that's not really my intention from TikTok. Like, I just want to create good content, like I said, build my portfolio and get that awareness out. But yeah, I think YouTube's definitely the best platform to make that big dollar, really.
And touching on something that I think still a lot of people struggle to speak to people about is that social media is the new way of talking to people, connecting, networking, stuff like this. A lot of it's digital. It's a way a lot of people run their businesses. It's everyday life. We wake up in the morning, you'll be trying to unlock your phone at 11, stuff like this, but it can have quite an impact on mental health. And I don't think everyone's there quite yet to admit that actually I might need to take a step back and actually remember that I have a real life, and that what I'm seeing all the time isn't real. The Dubai lifestyle, the Lamborghinis, the money, early 20s, that's not real. And do you think, are these conversations that you have, is it stuff sort of you've experienced, Oh
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I had a really bad essentially had a mental breakdown, to be honest with you, like 3-4 years ago. Just where, but it wasn't really social media connected. Obviously it had a part to play, but definitely I moved from Brighton to London for the job. And within 6 months I didn't have my own place. I was living in my sister's room, essentially, house in Lewisham. I didn't have much money. I obviously didn't realise like, the bubble I was in Brighton to move into London. Basically all these factors just built up, and obviously social media obviously did have a part to play, I think, because you are, like you said, I'm sat in my sister's box room in Lewisham, and I'm seeing someone in Dubai living, and I'm thinking, oh, what the hell, like, what's happened to my life, like, what's going on? And and even other stuff like it's just seeing people like, oh, they seem happy online, or they post a photo where they're laughing and smiling or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'm down in the dumps here. And I actually took myself off social media for a good, because I wasn't really doing what I'm doing now. So I was still behind the scenes, but I was having panic attacks in the office. I was on the phone to what were they called, like the support lines. Yeah, I was outside the office, like on the support lines, and I had to take a week off work. I just said to my boss, I was really open, I was like, look, really like mentally not okay, I just need to take a week off, and he was really, really understanding. He was like, yeah, no worries at all. And then I went back to Brighton. I had a really deep chat with my parents, and just let it all out, really, and it actually helped a lot. But social media definitely had an impact, I think. And I always say it, like, if I didn't work in social media, I try my best to stay away from it, but it's so hard because of the job I'm in. I have to be on it. But if it was down to me, if I didn't work in social media, I would stay as much, like I'd maybe keep to an hour a day or something like that, but I'm on it like 5-6 hours a day, which is mental. But it can definitely have a huge impact on you, and I think it can be quite dangerous. It's obviously got its pros and it's got its cons, but it's beautiful. It can connect people from around the world, and like I said, you can create content which makes people happy. But then on the downside, like you said, it can really affect you if you let it. I think that's the key thing. It's like if you let it and you really deep dive into social media and really let it just build up on you and like, you know, don't like, it's fake. Like social media is fake.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If you remember that message, you'll be good.
You need to disconnect, don't you?
100%. Because if you start associating social media with real life, that's where the mental health problems start, and that's where you potentially could really go down a really bad path, because you're comparing your life and your everything to do with your life, you're comparing it to social media, which is just not real. It's not real life. Like I use it now as essentially like a portfolio, like to show my work, to display my work now. Like if you go on my Instagram now, it's just interviews that I've done, just to showcase what I can do, rather than, I don't really share that many like personal memories anymore, really. And that's also the dangers of like, I don't want to potentially, if I post something, someone like some random person could write something about me or my family or something like that, and it's a bit, because obviously I'm not saying I've got big presence at all, I've only got like 3,000 followers on Instagram, but like you open yourself up to that, and like if you start reading the comments and stuff like that, honestly, like even last night I was doing it, I was looking through some old videos and I started reading the comments. I was like, what are you doing? I never do that. Like I made it like a thing to
back.
Yeah, don't look back, don't read comments in general, like especially if you do like presenting or whatever, or for a big platform, do not read the comments, because they can be brutal, and they can really affect you as well. So yeah, man, it's a tough one.
It's everything you said is the truth. I think it's going to relate to a lot of people. So hopefully that hit home. I think disconnection is the way forward. For me, that is the way that I approach all of it. I've had the comments, I've had stuff like that. I remember when my first video on YouTube blew up, I had death threats because I hit the American market, because I disagreed with something in America.
Right.
That was it. I had people trying to find out where I lived. The death, like YouTube holds comments if they're too offensive.
Crazy. Yeah.
I shouldn't have done, but I read some of those. Someone was after with a baseball bat, like.
Okay.
So it is crazy, and I think like you, I now don't post anything to do with my family life. I keep it all professional. And Ed Sheeran said it. I don't know if you heard him say that on a podcast he was doing or an interview. Is that he said Instagram is not to paint this happy lifestyle, the perfect smile, everything like that. I use it for marketing. If I've got a new song, I post my new song for people to listen to. That's what I use it for. And I think that's how you stay mentally sane, is you don't allow your personal life and have cut-off points. For me, it's important now that I'm going forward that come 6 o'clock, off social media, no matter what happens. So I think approaching it with that business mindset is really important, especially long term, because we can't get away from social media. It is a part of life. It's the news. It's the new newspaper. I like it when old people say all these, they look down a train and they're like, oh, look at all these kids on their phones. Well, go back 50 years ago, you were all reading the newspaper.
Yeah.
You got something against the mic?
Yeah, I know. Got beef with the mic.
But no, it's so important, mate. So what are the goals in terms of, because there are so many opportunities like for money and new streams of income. What's the goal personally with the Maz brand? Because you've got a good brand on TikTok as well. What is the future goal? Yeah,
I suppose it's just keep doing what I'm doing at the moment. I've still got a lot to learn. Like I'd say I'm like 30% of what I can be. I'm still learning every day, just about interviewing and being on screen and editing, and like the whole 360. So I've still got a long way to go. I suppose if someone's asked me this before and I didn't have an answer, like where do I want to be? What do I want to do? I don't really know. I don't have I want to be on this TV show or have my own TV show. Like I don't really know. I'm sort of just taking it sort of day by day, week by week, and just I like to do like mini goals. So like if there's, for example, the World Cup's coming up, for me a goal is to be out there, present, like being
playing.
Play for Iran. That'd be amazing. But no, like be out there and just report on it, and try and be that sort of face for the World Cup for Lad Bible. That would be great. That'd be amazing. So that's like sort of my short-term goal.
Yeah.
I don't really have any long-term goals. I know that might sound, some people might think, oh, that's a bit mad, but that's just not me. I like to sort of try and just keep those consistent goals. But I remember I used to have a mood board when I was really going through it, and I like my 6 months, I call it my 6 months of hell, because it was generally like the worst 6 months of my life. I remember I did a mood board. I put it up on my bedroom wall, and I remember putting up like things, and I always thought it was silly at the time. I was like, what an idiot. Like, what are you doing, mate? You put some post stuff on the wall. What are you doing? And I remember I put like, be a presenter, do this, I basically like put like 5 goals. And I think it was start a podcast, be a presenter, and then it was something like 3 or 4 other ones. And I hit them like within a year or year and a half. And I look back on that now and thinking, that's mad, like it actually worked, because I was a massive skeptic. Like, I don't really believe in all that kind of stuff. And
you put it down on paper.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And I just,
it was a physical thing.
Yeah, it was a physical thing, and I sort of looked at it every day, and that actually kept me going through as well, because I'll be totally upfront and honest with you, and a bit dark, but like I had like suicidal thoughts, I had like loads of stuff. Like, I basically wanted it to end, because I was like, this is not how I envisaged my life. And then and they sort of like really kept me going. Like, I actually have a goal now. I actually have something to strive towards.
Because otherwise it's floating about. It's never you never stop that goal and put it and face it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, yeah, it's sick. And then literally within about a year and a half, whatever, I hit it, and I was like, that's sick.
Yeah.
I do try and set myself like short-term goals, but I don't say I'd like in 5 years time I want to be this or that. I think just take it as it comes and just be better every day. Like, as cliched as it sounds, just be better than yesterday.
I think I'm very much aligned with you in the way that I think now. I think especially when we look at things like COVID, that changed things overnight. So I think crazy. To even plan 5-10 years down the line, I mean, you know, the economy and stuff like that we talk, how can you plan more than 2 years ahead? So I think I'm very much there with you, mindset wise, is that, do you know what, today we had hiccups, beginning of the day. It is what it is. Like, we're going to make it into a good day, and can't change what happened yesterday, can't change what's happening tomorrow, but we can certainly try and make the best of what we're doing now. Maz, it's been an awesome interview, mate. Just as we wrap up, what would be your top tip for people who are going into a world of social media, or perhaps already in the world, want to do the best that they can, brand, business-wise, while staying mentally sane? What would kind of your top tip be?
I'm not the best person to answer that. I think for me, be consistent. With whether that be uploads, with the effort you put in, applies to both. Also, just be authentic, be yourself. I know that's, everyone says that, literally every person you ask probably says that, but genuinely, like, that's what's got me this far. I don't change any, like, from what you see me now, and you take me off camera, I'm no different. I'm literally no different. I'm the same person. So genuinely, like, just be yourself. And if people don't like you, tough luck. Yeah, it's just a shame. You know, I couldn't care less about what they think, to be honest with you. If they don't like me, they don't like me. If some people like me, great. It's cool. Like, as long as, you know, work are happy, as long as, you know, people are enjoying the content, as long as I see, you know, people enjoying it and the comments are generally positive, as much as I don't try and not look at them. I think just, you know, those are two key things for me. Be consistent, whether it's with your social media stuff or just in life, and just be authentic and be yourself.
Top tips, mate. Really, really enjoyed it. And look, Maz, where can people go to connect with you? Because what I want to say, Maz, as soon as you leave here, there's going to be millions of people waiting for you outside. But where can people go to connect?
My socials is Maz Mirzadeh, which is Mirzadeh. And yeah, that's across all socials, pretty much.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Maz, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Thank you so much for having me.
Especially being a long-term friend of mine, it's been great. And everyone who has watched, thanks so much, and we'll see you all very soon.